Hey, Shalom, Shalom, the stuff, souls by giving no praise to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushua, Hashem, Makak, Dash, the belongs to the apostles of GMS, and honestly, brothers doing the work in truth, war, sincerity. This is a quick one. I thought I'd actually done a video on it before. I know I have mentioned it, in several videos, but I sort of came across something that reminded me of this today, and when I looked, I was like, oh shit, I ain't done a video on it, so. I'm just going to do a video on this. It says there are more adult diapers sold in Japan than baby diapers, right? And you think about it, that's crazy, man. That is crazy, right? Mrs. Japanese is basically a caption. Don't care about that. This is the verse says Japan is now arguably the oldest country in the world. Right, mind you, this is 3 years ago, and this was first the oldest article I can see on this, I believe, was like 2013, which was saying by the end of the decade, right? And we are entering the end of the decade, but this one's 3 years ago, saying that it had already happened. So Japan is now arguably the oldest country in the world. It wasn't like you could see it while walking around Tokyo, the countryside, at least not in most places. But there was one easy way to spot the shift, right? Just turn on the TV and it's likely you'd spot something like the following scene. Three ladies of a certain age sightseeing and strolling arm in arm down a city street dressed in pastel jackets. But one of them seems to be distracted, worried about something, right? Hiromi Yamaguchi, a research analyst with Euromonitor International global market research firm, translated the scene, explaining she is more of looking for toilets rather than enjoying the time with her friends. All right, what was the point? Okay, so the end of this paragraph says, while an ad for incontinence products for seniors might not sound like a big deal, according to World Bank, more than a quarter of Japan's population is over 65. At the same time, the country's birth rate is plunging. And what's one of the reasons it's plunging? Because they've adopted Esau's ways. They've adopted Esau's philosophies, right? Now women are all about the workplace, this, that, and the other, as opposed to actually, bearing children, raising children, looking after children. Esau's basically said that's a problem, right? And they've taken that, right? On the West, we'll be like, oh, yeah, they're Eastern, they're this and they're that. Look, man, they're Western, just like, these Western bitches over here. Obviously, they've still got certain aspects of them that are quite Eastern. They're, more likely to be more feminine, and stuff like that. However, right, Esau's got his paws over the whole world. Right, what does the scripture say? Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked, right? And that includes, these Moabite land. Japan is Ammon, right? These Ammonite lands, Moabite, which is, China in them, right? Esau's got control over all of this, and he's influenced everyone, right? So at the same time, like for instance, in fact, while I'm here, for instance, in Korea, right? As they're quite we in the West might think that they're quite conservative over there, but over there it's normal for women to just walk around in hot pants. It's like super normal, right? But here in the West, we might be like, nah, maybe they wouldn't dress that kind of way. But what is that proof of? That is proof that Esau has been given the power of the earth, right, as the scriptures say, right? So I'll continue on. It says, at the same time, the country's birth rate is plunging. This means seniors have fewer grandchildren to reach into their pockets for and more money to spend as they see fit. But according to the Pew Research Center in Japan, there are now more diapers produced for adults than for babies. Right? So this says produced at the very least, right? But you could read more into it. You can look at other articles. But this is what happens when you have a madman in power, right? It says Genesis 9 from the top, says in the most. And the thing is, this phrase here that I'm about to read is repeated several times over in the scriptures, right? Because at the end of the day, the Lord made the earth, right? And when you read about the garden, right, it says the garden eastward in Eden, right? Basically meaning it's not the Garden of Eden, it's the garden eastward in Eden, right? It wasn't a garden named Eden. The whole earth is Eden, and Eden goes back to the Hebrew Idan, which means paradise. Right? So the whole earth is a paradise, and the Lord made it to be inhabited. Right? But what is Esau? Esau is as death, as we read in the scriptures, and cannot be satisfied. Right? And he's going around, pushing philosophies that kill people, right? And makes people think twice about bringing life to the earth. Right? It says, and the Most High blessed Noah and his sons, and said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, right? And replenish the earth, right? So the Lord basically put a commandment saying, look, man, have children, right? Go out, and so that you have children, then your children have children, right? That's how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to be having children to what you can afford. In the ancient world, right, what would it have been? It would have been however many you can afford. So yeah, you can have more than one wife, right? But that wasn't always practical, because if you were poor, you couldn't afford more than one wife, right? Whereas if you were rich, you could afford as many as you want. You see King Solomon, 1 Kings 11, right? He said he's had a 700 wives and 300 concubines, right? But in the kingdom, money is not going to be an object, right? It says Isaiah 60, I believe, and 22. So Isaiah 60 and 22, right? And the whole of Isaiah 60 is good, right? It goes into how in the kingdom Israel's gonna be good, man. Right? These heathens are gonna bring their forces to us, right? And we gonna be all right. Right, so Isaiah 60:22, a little one shall become 1,000, and a small one a strong nation. Yahweh will hasten it in his time. Right. So you gonna have lots of children in the kingdom, right? Because you're gonna have the means to take care of them. Right. It ain't gonna be like now where, you have a child, your woman rings you up, I'm pregnant, right? And the first thing you're doing is you're like, fuck, right? Because this is hell. Micah 2 and 10. This is not our rest, right? So that's what it's going to be like in the kingdom, right? So it's all about being fruitful and multiplying. Right? This is 1 Timothy 5:14. Now therefore that the younger women marry, bear children, guard the house, give none occasion to the adversary to speak reproachfully. Right? So what's a younger woman supposed to do? She's supposed to marry. And what is marriage? Right? We read that in Exodus 22 and 16. Right? And if a man entice a maid, so you know how you imagine, your smoothest Judite out there, hey baby, how you doing, man? All the tribes have their different style, but Judah is what is portrayed, throughout, through on the media, right? That's why I just use that as an example, right? That's your Judite spit in his slickest game, right? He basically, he drops, quote as they call it, and he drops game on them. This, on the chick, she's all feeling it, right? And then she's like, you know what? I like this guy, right? And then they have sex with each other, right? And it says that is not betrothed, right? Because if she's married, right, and he has sex with her, that's adultery. If she's betrothed and he has sex with her, that's adultery. And betrothed means promised in marriage, right? But it says, that is, but not betrothed and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife, right? Basically saying when you have sex with a woman, right, a woman of your own nation, that is now your wife, right? So then you ask yourself, but wait there, we be having sex with women that have had sex with other men, right? And that's why the scriptures say that this is a wicked and adulterous generation, right? Because if you want to be technical, they were married, right? They're not a virgin, right? They were married, and technically speaking, it's adultery, right? But the standard we go by is, you ask them, look, you got a husband, you seeing anyone, right? And if they say I'm single, then fair game, right? But yeah, that is what marriage is according to the scriptures, right? So it says, back in 1 Timothy 5, therefore that the younger women marry and bear children, guard the house, give none occasion to the adversary to speak reproachfully, right? So marry, have sex with a man, and stay with that man, right? Bear children, meaning you actually have the child. Don't abort the child, whatever wickedness. Which abortion, that's one of the things that's going out throughout the whole world, right? I know some countries that for instance, over there in the east, it's still illegal. In Korea, once again, I know it's still illegal there, right? But once again, the perception is changing, right? These things are becoming more and more acceptable. Why? Once again, because the earth is given to the hand of the wicked, right? So Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked, right? He covereth the face of the judge thereof. If not, where and who is he? Right? He says he covereth the face of the judge thereof. Who's the number one judge? Yahweh Shai, whom the world calls ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Right? And now they covered his face. They've painted him to be a so-called white man when the scriptures describe exactly how he looks. Well, I mean, not exactly. It describes that he had, to a good degree how he looks. So you're able to picture, how the Lord would look were he to come back. You would know, for one, that he's not a so-called white man. You know that he's a so-called black man, right? Were he to come, right? Which he will come, right? It says, if not, where and who is he? But he's saying, if Esau ain't the one ruling, if he ain't the wicked, then who is? Right? Because Esau's the wicked. Scriptures call him the border of wickedness, right? Because wherever he goes, right, wicked shit happens, which is why you're having all of these weird and wacky philosophies being pushed all throughout the earth, right? It says Malachi 1:4, whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places, right? And Esau can build, right? I mean, look at all of these buildings all across the world. Esau can build, man. Right? It says, thus saith Yahweh of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness. Right? Wherever they go, right? Their wickedness is there now, right? It says, and the people against whom Yahweh hath indignation forever, right? Indignation representing righteous anger, right? And Yahweh, the Most High, has a righteous anger against these Edomites, these E's, right? The people, because of what they've done to the children of Israel. Right? It says Ezekiel 35:5. Right? It says, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and has shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword, in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity has had an end. Right? Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. If thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Right? So for all the wickedness that Esau has done to the children of Israel, right, the Lord is going to return that on his head. You read that in Revelation 18:6, 2 Thessalonians 1:6, right? And in other places. It says, therefore, as I live, saith Yahweh power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Sith thou, I believe that means sense, something. Conditional clause, oath, sense. I believe it means sense. You saw it there. Since thou hast not, sith thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. So right, what you whatever a man. In fact, let's grab that. Galatians. It says Galatians 6:7, right? It says, verse 7, it says, be not deceived, the Most High is not mocked, for whatsoever man soweth, that shall he also reap. Salakia. All right, so whatever you sow, whatever you do, that's going to be returned unto you. Right now, what has Esau done? Esau's gone around. He's he's killed. Right, he's made the earth bloody. Right, so now that blood, as we just read in Ezekiel 35:5, is going to be returned unto him. Right, and it's fair. It's it's righteous. Right, no one can turn around and say it's unrighteous. Right, apart from Esau will do that. Esau and Jake will do their damn best to to defend Esau, right? To defend Whitey, so called, right? But the Lord ain't forgotten, right? What was I gonna get? I forgot what I was gonna get. Right, this is Habakkuk 2. In fact, there's more in it. What do I want to get? I'll read 2 and 5, right? It says, yea, also because he transgresseth by wine. Right, and this philosophy that, it ain't about family, it ain't about having children, that, you're going to have a career first, right? That is philosophy, which is, wine is represented philosophies here, right? And it's a wicked philosophy, right? Because who's raising the children? Right, people are putting off having children so that they can, so that they can have careers, right? It says, he transgressed by once. That's a philosophy, right? It says he is a proud man, yeah, because Esau says his way is right. For instance, if you tell someone, yeah, I had a child at 19 or whatever have you, they've immediately thought of you in a certain light. But why? Because Esau has said that his way is right. Right, the one where you wait until you're damn near 39, damn near turning 40, your eggs don't work anymore, right? Your sperm ain't as good anymore, right? He basically makes it seem like that's the best time to be having children. But why? Right? It goes on to say, so neither keepeth at home. Oh man, if that ain't Esau, then who is it? Right? This man's gone around just setting up garrisons, right? In basically more or less all countries on the face of the planet Earth, right? It says, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, right? So teaching this whole ideology that you should be having children late, right? That is a doctrine of death. That is a philosophy of death. Right? Because you think about it, you have a child at that age, it's gonna be a difficult birth, right? Late 30s for a woman. That's gonna be a difficult birth, right? Then you have one child, you're like, you know what, fuck this, I don't want to do this again, right? So then you might maybe have one more child at most, right? And then you're like, I'm done, right? So one, and then the later a woman leaves having children, the more likely is that that child is gonna have ailments, right? So then now, you have now you're pregnant, but is your child gonna come to terms? Is he gonna come out deformed? Is he gonna come out with this ailment, that ailment? You don't know, right? Once again, a philosophy of death, right? Whereas you look at you have a child early in your life, a woman maybe 19, 20 or whatever, right? You have that one child, then maybe let's say you have another child in 5 years time, right? Then you be like, you know what, fuck it, I want, bam, just have another child. What, you're 24, right? Then, a couple of years time, them urges coming up again. You're like, fuck it, I want to have another child. But you're 29, you got 3 children, right? But then once again, you're like, oh shit, I'm not going to be able to have children, soon. And you might have another child 30, 31, 32. Right, here it is, you got 4 children now, right? And once again, obviously, the caveat of that is, you're supposed to have as many children as you can afford, right? At the end of the day, we're supposed to be taking care of our families to the best of our abilities, right? But Esau pushes that you have your children late, right? When they're less likely to be healthy, when you're less healthy, right? Where was I? Verse 15 says, woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, once again representing philosophies, right, that puttest thy bottle to him and makes him drunken also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness, right? So woe, destruction unto him for pushing his philosophies out onto the earth, right? Making people think that what he is all about is the right way, which his way is the wrong way, right? This is Isaiah. This is Isaiah 14 and 16. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? Right? So Esau's going to be brought down and people are going to look at him, right, for the vermin that he is. Right? Esau's gonna be brought down. Right now, you look at these so-called right people, and you know, people exalt them, whatever, what have you, but they're gonna be brought down, right? You got to read it deeper. The roaches are gonna be in the kingdom, but Esau reign. Pigs are gonna be in the kingdom, but Esau reign. Right? That's how insignificant you are, right? As a nation of people, right? And this is one of the reasons why you gotta be destroyed, because you've basically made it seem like not having children is something to be glorified. Right now, I should be stigmatized, but Esau's trying to fight anyone trying to stigmatize that. Well, you shouldn't ask people why they've not had children, right? Esau's or anybody stigmatizes people that have children, at a younger age, right? Oh, you didn't live life. Look, your children are life, man. Right, so as always, Lord's Wood, I was edifying. To the next time. Shalom.